Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this episode, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland and Disneyland history with mementos, snapshots, and postcards sent from Disneyland from 1955 to the present. Today I'm starting off by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join and receive mail from my desk or from my Disneyland trips. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the e-ticket patrons Tania, Eric Daniels, Joe Gamble, Scott Booker, Monica Seitz Vega, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Scott Cagle, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, Brian Crawford, Ben and Noel Bruning, Patty Wolin, Angela Reynolds, Greg Gorley, and Aaron Moran. B-ticket patrons Jeff and Paige Orton, and Joshua, and Exorable Tosh Bell. And the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Maggie and Henry Byers, Angel DeBlois, and the All Aboard podcast. You can also sign up for my new newsletter for a chance to get some postcards delivered by the USPS to your mailbox. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has Sleeping Beauty Castle. You can see guests walking over the drawbridge, and if you look closely, you can see some vines growing up the castle walls. On the back it reads, Sleeping Beauty Castle, Fantasyland. Sleeping Beauty Castle welcomes guests to the wonderful land of fantasy, a land where dreams can actually come true for the young in heart. It's postmarked July 30th, 1964, with an Anaheim cancel and a 6-cent red U.S. Airmail Eagle postage stamp, Scott number C67. I assume they visited the park on Wednesday, July 29, 1964, when park hours were from 9 a.m. to midnight. The weather was a high of 90 and a low of 64. Park attendance that day was 32,377. It's addressed to Mrs. B. Egbert of Spokane, Washington. It reads, Wednesday. Dear Mom, we are here. Wish you were too. Everything is okay. I'm heading for home. CBE. With the Summer Olympics currently being played in Paris, and with the next Summer Olympic Games being planned for Los Angeles, I thought it would be fun to look back at the 1984 Summer Olympic mascot, Sam the Olympic Eagle. The history of Olympic mascots begins in the summer of 1932. With the Games being played in Los Angeles, a dog, believed to be born on the first day of construction of the Olympic Village, was found. The mixed breed, Scottish Terrier, Bulldog, Australian Sheepdog, and likely many other breeds, was named Smokey, and was given an official mascot blanket to wear and pose for photos with athletes and their medals. Originally, the 1984 Olympic mascot was going to be a bear to represent California. California's state flag has a bear in the center of it, and has been the official state animal since 1953. The decision was made to use the bald eagle, the symbol of the United States, due to the use of a brown bear named Misha, was the mascot for the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow. Great news, Enfield Post is back up on Etsy. Grabbing some vintage stamps is a great way to plus your mail, whether you're trying to match the color of your postcard or envelope, or adding a themed stamp to the back of your mail. Be sure to check out Enfield Post. You can head over to enfieldpost.com and explore all the different vintage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and enfieldpost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has Space Mountain at night. You can see guests in line for the attraction and underneath the performance area before it was converted to the Magic Eye Theater. If you look closely, you can see guests going up the moving walkway to the second level. On the back it reads, Spectacular Space Mountain. The glowing spires of Space Mountain reach skyward to the universe. Inside, passengers board rockets for a flight that's truly out of this world. It's postmarked May 20th, 1984, with an Anaheim cancel and a 20-cent U.S. flag over the Supreme Court postage stamp, Scott number 1895. I assume they visit the park on Sunday, May 20th, 1984, and Friday, May 25th, 1984, when park hours were from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Sunday and 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Friday. The weather was a high of 78 and a low of 57 on Sunday, and a high of 76 and a low of 61 on Friday. It's addressed to Cascade Manor, care of Office Crew and Maintenance in Eugene, Oregon. It reads, "Hi everyone, having an excellent time. Everything's so neat down here. 80 degrees and sunny. Spent all day here today. I love Disneyland. Didn't see it all, going back for more on Friday. Hope to see Johnny Carson's show on Wednesday. Tomorrow we are going to Beverly Hills to shop. See you all soon. Love, Ellen." Before we continue, if Ellen did make it to the Tonight Show taping, Johnny Carson's guests were Sammy Davis Jr. and Charles Nelson Riley. They were both likely there to promote Cannonball Run 2, a movie they were both in. Bob Moore was hired to design the 1984 Olympic mascot. Bob was born in Los Angeles on April 21st, 1920. He attended the Chouinard Art Institute and was an apprentice animator at the Disney Studios by the time he was 20. He worked on Dumbo, The Reluctant Dragon, and The Three Caballeros. His next assignment came during World War II when the studio shifted to making training films. Bob worked on the animated training films for the Navy. After the war, he continued at the company in the story department for Melody Time and Make Mine Music. His career shifted in 1951 to the publicity department, where he designed movie posters, Christmas cards, letterheads, and logos. He was also given the task as one of the official Walt Disney autographers. So if you wrote to the Disney studio for a signed photo of Walt, you may have Bob Moore's Walt's signature. He also helped design the commemorative postage stamp of Walt Disney for the U.S. Postal Service in 1968. Bob retired from the Walt Disney Company in 1983. One of his last assignments was designing Sam the Olympic Eagle for the 1984 Olympic Games. Sam was designed with his wings to be more like arms and his feathers to represent fingers. This was similar to the Mark Davis designed eagle character for America Sings. Bob drew Sam playing a variety of Summer Olympic sports. Sam became popular enough to appear on multiple Olympic souvenirs, and a full costume was made for photo opportunities. In 1983, a Japanese television production even made a 52-episode animated show about Sam called Eagle Sam. McDonald's had Sam appear in commercials with Ronald McDonald and other McDonaldland characters. Bob was made a Disney legend in 1996 and passed away 5 years later at the age of 81. The official mascot for the 2028 Los Angeles Summer Olympic Games have not been announced. I hope we see Sam return at least for the opening ceremonies. This incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is an online craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Be sure to check out Monday's ATD, which is usually hosted by paper artist Russ Romano. I've seen many amazing art projects, learned about awesome postmarks, postage stamp history, and a lot more on different episodes. It's great to stop in for an hour to watch someone craft or design something unique. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has the brown bear pouring honey onto his paw. To his left, there are 10 bees looking angrily towards him. In the background, there's tall grass and unique-looking trees. It's postmarked July 4th, 2024, with a Moscow, Russia cancel, and 6 Russian postage stamps, with the denominations of 200, 100, 50, 25, 10, and 5. It reads, "Hello, Clocky. Greetings from Moscow, Russia. My name is Anna. It's my second attempt to send you a postcard, but in case the first one reaches you, you will have 2 cards with the Soviet version of Winnie the Pooh. I thought it might be interesting for you to see another cultural interpretation. The character is a bit clumsy, likes singing strange short songs, but is hilarious and a helpful, kind friend. I wish you to be surrounded by your nearest and dearest, and enjoy Disney cartoons at any age. Anna. Have a good time." Thank you so much for the postcard, Anna. I love seeing different interpretations of classic literary characters. I've received a few versions of Winnie the Pooh. It's always interesting to see the similarities and the divergences of the characters. I'm also glad that I got this postcard. It's a reminder that sometimes mail gets lost, and to always send a backup card. I also thought this postcard was fitting for this week's theme of the Summer Olympics and the bear that caused Sam the Olympic Eagle to be created. I also enjoyed your wax stamp that was on the envelope, and this was my first time getting certified mail from outside of the country. The washi tape and the deer in a lamp sticker were nice pieces of flair as well. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would be helpful to share your favorite episode to a friend or on social media. There are over 200 to choose from. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment at whatever podcast platform you use. If you would like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Sent From Disneyland, or on Twitter at Sent From Disney. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent From Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to its host and guests of the Sent From Disneyland podcast.